What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Boyz Podcast, episode 21, and the audio might be a little different because we're in a different place now, because roomies.
We're legitimately 5 feet apart through a wall.
Yep. Quite literally in 5 feet apart. But anyway, we're going to break down week 8. We are halfway through the season, and even though Carl doesn't know about this yet, at the end of this episode, our 7 playoff teams for each conference will be revealed. I meant to tell you.
I can't find a pen. Hold on. Scramble. Oh well, I'll do it off the dome. I got it.
I can hear your echo too. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get started with last Thursday night as the Atlanta Falcons defeated the Carolina Panthers 25-17. Carl, go ahead.
Okay, just as common courtesy, I will let you do your beloved Panthers. And I will take the Atlanta Falcons, who probably played their best total football game of the season, honestly enough. I thought they were going to give it away at the end, though, but they held on to it thanks to a horrid Teddy Bridgewater read, but that's okay. Okay, Matt Ryan went 21 for 30, 281 yards, no touchdowns and no interception. Todd Gurley led the way on the ground with...
It says he had 1 interception.
Oh, he did. Oh, no, he didn't have a touchdown. He threw 1 interception.
There we go.
Yeah. Todd Gurley led the way on the ground with 18 attempts for 46 yards and 1 score. Matt Ryan also added a touchdown on the ground.
I don't want to talk about Matt Ryan rushing for touchdowns.
No. Julio Jones, over 11.
There was none of that to be found in this game.
7 catches, 137 yards, and I'm pretty sure he had 100 and some odd of that in the first half, or at least close.
Yes.
Hayden Hurst, 5 catches for 54. Calvin Ridley got hurt early on in the game, but he had 3 catches for 42 yards.
Cost me another fantasy game.
Yep. And on the defense, Keanu Neal led the way with 7 tackles. And you got sacks from Dante Fowler Jr. Screw that man. I'll say it for you. Isaiah Oliver and Deion Jones. And I thought at one point Keanu Neal murdered a man named Mike Davis. But that's okay.
Yeah. Just to touch on that part really quick, what Dante Fowler Jr. did was Bush League, but that guy that got ejected deserved to be ejected because that stuff just needs to get out of the game.
It does, completely, 100%.
As far for the Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, probably his worst performance as a Panther.
I'd say so.
15 of 23, 176, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 3 times. QBR of 43.9. P.J. Walker came in, was 1 of 4 for 3 yards. Even though he did take a shot to Curtis Samuel on his first throw, which was pretty impressive. As far as rushing, Mike Davis on the ground, 13 carries for 66 yards, so not bad. Rushing touchdown, Curtis Samuel, 3 rushes for 23 yards and a score. And the Panthers are running into a little issue with Curtis Samuel and Taylor Moton coming in this offseason.
Agreed.
I love Curtis Samuel, but Taylor Moton's probably one of the best offensive linemen we've had in the last decade. So if it comes to keeping one of them, I'd rather keep the lineman. Also on the ground, Jeremy Chin, 28 yards on a 4th down fake punt. They were led the way in yards by DJ Moore on 2 catches, but Robbie Anderson had led the team with 5 catches for 48 yards. Curtis Samuel added the only lone passing touchdown. On defense, Jeremy Chin, which is this really a surprise at this point, Jeremy Chin led the team with 10 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 1 quarterback hit. He did not practice today, which is kind of concerning because Carolina is having to go against the best offense in football this Sunday. Trey Boston, 8 tackles. Tahir Whitehead, 6 tackles. They are both useless.
Yes.
As we talked about, Carolina is in Kansas City, and the Falcons
are at home playing Denver.
Interesting matchup.
Indeed.
Let's go to the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh.
And their win over the Detroit Lions, 41-21. I will take Detroit and let Carl handle his ass cheeks of team. You knew.
Oh my God.
You knew that was coming.
Oh. Okay, go ahead.
For the Lions, Matthew Stafford, 24-42, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 5 times, QBR of 33.3. What?
Put on the COVID list today, he was.
Yes, he was, and we're talking like Yoda now. Rushing game, Detroit, no. Non-existent.
You don't want to talk about the 29 total yards they had on 12 carries?
13 carries, but yes. They were led in the air by Marvin Hall, because we all called that. 4 catches, 113 yards. They were led in catches by tight end T.J. Hawkinson, 7 catches for 65 yards. Their 2 main receivers, Marvin Jones, 3 catches, 39 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Kenny Golladay, nothing because he got concussed early on. As far as defense, they were led by Jamie Collins with 11 tackles, 2 of those for loss, and Tracy Walker with 11 tackles. Not much to speak of on Detroit's side of defense because crazy that their head coach is an offensive guy, but they haven't been able to stop anything ever since he's been there.
No. To my Indianapolis ass cheeks.
That's Colts. What I meant to say.
The Indianapolis ass Colts. Close enough. Phillip Rivers. See what do I say on this podcast? If Phillip Rivers doesn't play like an ass cheek, we're going to win. 23 for 33, 70%, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, a QBR of almost 132. Led the way on the ground by Jordan Wilkins.
Office pool.
20 attempts for 89 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor's dealing with an ankle issue, I believe. He got 11 carries for 22 yards. And the other rushing touchdown came from tight end Trey Burton.
Yep.
We had 11 different receivers catch a pass in this game.
Yep, the Lions secondary is still
trash. Played by Naheem Hines with 54 yards on 3 catches and 2 scores. The other touchdown came from old man Jack Doyle. And on defense,
Darius
led
Leonard.
the way Darius Leonard, guys, we all know who it is. 9 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble. Kenny Moore got a pick 6 in this game, as well as sacks from Danico Autry and Tyquan Lewis. Let's see, where are we going next week? Indianapolis is at home against Baltimore. Big yikes. And Detroit is playing Minnesota with no Matthew Stafford, it looks like.
No, also doesn't. I don't see the one in that game, but all right. Let's go on to the Buffalo Bills have finally beaten the New England Patriots.
It just doesn't feel right.
But it's taken quite a bit because this Patriots team traded for Isaiah Ford intra-division, and then they signed another receiver today. But as far for them, Cam Newton, 15 of 25, 174, no touchdowns, no picks, 54.5 QBR. They were led by Damian Harris on the ground, 16 carries, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. Cam added 54 yards and a touchdown on 9 carries. Receiver, they were led by Jacoby Myers, 6 catches, 58 yards. Damiere Byrd, James White, Ryan Izzo, Isaiah Zuber, and Rex Burkhead all caught passes, since we all know them common names.
That tells you all you need to know about this Patriots offense.
They were led in tackles by Devin McCourty with 6. Cam Newton had a fumble late, which did end up costing them this game. And that's it for the New England Patriots.
Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, 11 for 18, 61%, 154 yards, 1 pick, no touchdowns, QBR 75.
He's really fallen off.
He has. It's I don't know what's happened over the last couple of weeks. I mean, the defenses he's playing are tough defenses, but and I think the weather was bad in this game too, if I remember correctly. I think the wind was blowing really bad, so throwing the ball wasn't really going well.
Yeah,
on the ground for the Bills, they combined for a total of 38 rushing attempts in this game. Devin Singletary and Zach Moss split carries pretty evenly. Singletary got 86 yards. Zach Moss got 81. Both touchdowns went to Zach Moss, as well as a Josh Allen rushing touchdown. Stephon Diggs led the way with 92 yards on 6 catches.
What a shock there.
I don't want to talk about Stephon Diggs, but it seems to happen every single time. And on defense for them, they were led by Jordan Poyer with 11 tackles. They got sacks from Quentin Jefferson and Jerry Hughes, as well as a forced fumble from Justin Zimmer.
The Patriots and the Jets are next week's Monday Night
Football.
Well,
okay, you've got Green Bay and San Fran on Thursday in a injury-filled, COVID-ridden slugfest, and you get to watch that on Monday night.
Thank God for New Orleans, Tampa.
Right.
And the Bills...
Can we just flex New England and New York with, like, Seattle, Buffalo?
Or anything.
Right. Let's see. Next week, we've got New England and New York Jets, as you said, and the Bills, as I just said, are in Buffalo playing Seattle.
So, does someone explain to me?
Oh boy!
How the Las Vegas Raiders defeated the Cleveland Browns 16-6. There's no reason to go into that game. We're just gonna say what the final score was. And not to be disrespectful to the fans of those games, but it was a very boring game. They couldn't throw the ball. The wind was atrocious in Cleveland. And we're only going to touch this on for about 30 seconds. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the New York Jets 35-9. Mahomes was 31 of 42 for 416 yards and 5 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 8 catches, 109, 1 score. Tyreek Hill, 4 catches, 98 yards, 2 scores. McCall Hardman, 96 yards, 1 score, 63 yards, and a score for Demarcus Robinson. Le'Veon Bell didn't do anything in this game against his former team, and yeah, that's about it because the Jets are awful.
The Jets are awful, and I'm just going to throw this out here. It's going to be probably a half of a hot take. The Chiefs are still the best team in the league.
I agree.
That little 0 in the Steelers win column, it's impressive, but I still don't think they're beating the Chiefs.
So, someone explain to me how the Rams looked awful against the Miami Dolphins.
Looked bad. I'll take the Rams.
For the Miami Dolphins, considering how Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert looked in their debuts, this was pretty not, but the Rams have a pretty good defense. Tua Tagovailoa, I think I said that right.
That's impressive.
12 of 22 for 93 yards and a touchdown, 25.0 QBR. But here's the thing. Half his passes, 93 yards, over 4 yards of completion. So you do that 3 times, that gets you a first down. Threw a touchdown, didn't turn the ball over.
Did what he needed to do.
Now, he's a number 5 overall pick. He's going to have to play better than that, especially considering the guy who was taken 1 pick after him is going to be the rookie of the year if we keep this up.
Yeah.
Also, just a little side note, we will get to the Los Angeles Chargers here in a little bit, but I just got to bring it out. Chargers, fire Anthony Lynn.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. As far on the ground, they were led by Myles Gaskin, 18 carries, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Unfortunately, Myles Gaskin has a sprained MCL and will be out 3 to 4 weeks, which leaves Matt Breida as the lead back the next couple of weeks for the Miami Dolphins. Tua had 2 carries for 0 yards. At least that's what the stat line says. I don't know why it's on here. As far as receiving, 2 catches for 16 yards for Durham Smythe was the leader in the catching department. The touchdown was caught by Devontae Parker. There wasn't much there. The Dolphins' defense.
Yeah.
They had 2 forced fumbles, Kyle Van Noy and Andrew Van Ginkel. That is my favorite new name.
That has got to be the most Caucasian name of all time.
Jerome Baker led them on defense with 12 tackles, 5 of them solos, 2 pass deflections, and a quarterback hit. Nick Needham with 10 tackles, Kyle Van Noy with 9. Eric Rowe had 5 pass deflections and 7 tackles.
That's insane.
They accumulated 14 pass deflections.
Oh my god. That's against an explosive Rams offense, too.
Yeah, they had 14 pass deflections. They got to Goff 2 times but hit him 9.
Didn't they get...
And they also got 2 interceptions. Eric Rowe had an interception as well, along with Christian Wilkins.
Wait. Christian Wilkins got an interception?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't that man weigh like 330 pounds, probably?
Yes, he was part of that Clemson defensive line a couple years ago with him and Clelin Ferrell and...
Oh. Yeah.
And now I'll hand it over to Carl to take on the Los Angeles Rams, and Jared Goff probably played the worst game of his career.
Which is actually crazy. He attempted 61 passes.
Yep, if you were longtime listeners of this podcast, you know that me and Carl specifically do not think any quarterback should be throwing the ball over 50 times, let alone 60.
Or that a corner should lead your team in tackles. But that's another story for another time. Jared Goff, 35 for 61, 355 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks, as we have said. Still a QBR of 71. He didn't play bad. They were just playing from behind. So they were forcing it pretty well. They were led on the ground by Malcolm Brown, 10 attempts for 40 yards. They got a rushing touchdown from Robert Woods. One of the most underrated receivers in the league, by the way, is Robert Woods.
I agree.
Cooper Kupp, 11 catches for 110 yards. They got a receiving touchdown as well as 85 yards from Robert Woods. And defensively, they were led by Micah Kaiser with 6 tackles. Aaron Donald on this game had 4 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. They also got a forced fumble from Taylor Rapp.
Micah Kaiser is a former UVA Cavalier.
He is. Next week, the Rams they're on a bye. The Rams are on a bye, and Miami is in Arizona. Tua versus Kyler. Again.
Because they played in one of those playoff semifinals that Oklahoma always gets their ass kicked in.
I just realized that the Dolphins are over 500.
Yes, they are. They're 4-3.
They're 4-3.
And are second in the AFC East.
And the AFC is kind of trash. If they play well enough, they might make their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, it just depends how Tua plays.
Yeah.
Speaking of Joe Burrow, let's go to Cincinnati, where the Bengals just outclassed the Tennessee Titans in about every way that you can do it. I'll take Cincinnati.
All right, go ahead.
Joe Burrow, 26 of 37, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, QBR of 75.8. Joe Burrow continues to impress on the ground. Giovanni Bernard led the team. Imagine that with Joe Mixon out. Everyone saw this coming. 15 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. He also added 16 yards and a touchdown through the air. Another rushing touchdown came from Samaje Perine.
Yep.
10 carries, 32 yards, and a score.
Another former Sooner, I believe.
Yes. T. Higgins is producing to be the next thing in Cincinnati. 6 catches for 78 yards, and me and Carl called this pick at the top of the second round back in April awful, and we're eating dust.
We usually do, Ian. We usually do.
Facts. Then after that was Tyler Boyd, 6 catches for 67 yards, and a score. Him and Giovanni Bernard caught the 2 touchdowns. Defensively, they were led by Jesse Bates III with 11 tackles, 2 pass deflections. They got to Ryan Tannehill once, and Jesse Bates also added an interception. And now on to the Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Derrick Henrys.
Basically.
Ryan Tannehill, 18 for 30, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a QBR of 100.7. Derrick Henry, 18 attempts, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Corey Davis led the way through the air with 8 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. They also got a touchdown from A.J. Brown. And they were led defensively by Jayon Brown with 12 tackles. And that was about all they did. That was about the highlight for their defense.
Because they have no pass rush.
No.
Next week,
we've got Tennessee welcoming in the Chicago Bears. And am I blind? I feel like I'm blind. Yep, Cincinnati's on a bye week. There we go.
There we go. Alrighty. Let's just hit something real quick. Who pissed off Dalvin Cook?
I wish I knew.
Because Minnesota goes into Green Bay and upsets the Green Bay Packers 28-22 on the backs of Dalvin Cook. Because this man was ridiculous, and Green Bay still just doesn't care about Aaron Rodgers.
Not at all. I'll take the Packers. Oh, my.
Kirk Cousins, 11-14, 160, 1 score. Only sacked once, 82.1 QBR. You can play like that when your all-pro running back behind you plays like he did. Dalvin Cook, 30 carries for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground through the air. 2 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. All this was in the first half, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I think most of it was.
Most of it, yeah.
Dalvin Cook led them in receiving. Not Adam Thielen, who had 27 yards, or Justin Jefferson, who had 26. The guys you're paying to be your number 1 and number 2s. As far as defensively, Eric Kendricks led them in tackles. Also, we're going to talk about the fact that Eric Kendricks was 30 yards downfield guarding Devontae Adams.
And doing it well.
Because the Vikings don't have any corners. Like, quite literally, they don't have any cornerbacks.
No, in the scary situation in this game with Cameron Dantzler, though.
Yeah.
Went down, got hit, didn't move for a while. Got feeling back in his extremities at the hospital, so that's good to see.
That is very good to see. All right, the Green Bay Cheeseheads.
Who's your best player? The fighting Devontae Adams. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, 27 for 41, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns. Led on the ground by Jamal Williams. 16 attempts for 75 yards. They got no rushing touchdowns. And their 3 best running backs aren't going to be playing Thursday due to the COVID.
So, if that game even happens at this rate.
Led through the air by, of course, Devontae Adams. 7 catches, 53 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Also got 79 yards out of Robert Tonyan, the tight end. Defensively, they were led by Adrian Amos with 8 tackles. They got a sack out of Dean Lowry, no forced fumbles, no interceptions.
Yeah, Minnesota played pretty well, and you don't got to do much when your all-pro running back puts up 4 touchdowns.
You don't. Next week, Green Bay plays Thursday in San Francisco. And as we said earlier, Detroit is coming into Minnesota.
Let's go to Denver, where the Los Angeles Chargers continue to find ways to lose close games.
Seems like a theme for the last, decade and a half.
Not much to talk about here. I mean, both teams were good. Justin Herbert, 29-43, 278, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Justin Jackson led the way, 17 carries for 89 yards. 67 yards on 10 carries for Troymaine Pope. Touchdowns by Mike Williams on 5 catches for 99 yards. Keenan Allen, a touchdown, 9 catches, 67 yards. and a touchdown by Gabe Neighbors. Never heard of that man.
I'm lost.
They were led on defense by Rayshon Jenkins with 7 tackles and 2 pass deflections. The Los Angeles Chargers did trade Casey Hayward Jr.
Yes.
to the Tennessee Titans for a 6th-round draft selection.
Which is crazy because about 2-3 years ago, Casey Hayward was one of the best corners in the league. He's worth a 6th-round pick? Okay.
Hey, you could be the New York Jets and traded Avery Williamson for a God knows whatever pick they did to the damn undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers.
Or you could be the Houston Texans that traded arguably the best receiver in the league for some belly button lint and a dirty skittle.
That's a new one.
Okay, but back to the Broncos. Drew Lock coming back into form after coming off the IR. 26 completions on 41 attempts for 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. Led on the ground by Phillip Lindsay, who only had 6 carries but had 83 yards and a touchdown. Led through the air by Noah Fant with 7 catches, 47 yards. Got receiving touchdowns from Deshaun Hamilton, KJ Hamler, and Albert Okwuegbunam. I really should have let you say that.
Name of the year.
Albert O.
Does someone want to talk about the fact that the Denver Broncos had 3 players on defense with 10-plus tackles?
Yeah, we will mention that right now. Kareem Jackson had 12 tackles. Josie Jewell had 10. And A.J. Johnson had 10 tackles as well. Got a sack from Bradley Chubb, Malik Reed, and got 2 picks, one from Justin Simmons and one from Bryce Callahan. I also just want to say the name Michael Ojemudia because it's really great.
Next.
That's all I got. It was a good game to watch. It was entertaining. And as you said, the Chargers continue to find ways to let Anthony Lynn keep his job.
Next week,
who we got? We got the Los Angeles Chargers at home against the Las Vegas Raiders, which I still almost call them Oakland. And the Denver Broncos are in Atlanta.
What a fiery show that's going to be.
Yeah. Hey, Ian.
What's up?
How about them Cowboys?
We're going to touch on that shit show in a minute. I have an idea. Let's go to Baltimore.
Let's do that.
Let's talk about a much more entertaining game. The Pittsburgh Steelers stay undefeated, advance to 7-0 as they beat their arch rival, the Baltimore Ravens, 28-24, in a game that the Ravens had no business losing because they outplayed the Steelers at pretty much every advantage except for the fact that Lamar Jackson cannot get it. Still can't get it done in the games that he needs to, which is why to me he's not an elite quarterback.
Won an MVP though.
Yeah, won an MVP, but any big game he's ever been in, he's lost.
The only reason he won MVP is because Patrick Mahomes missed 3 games.
Yeah. Oh, people want to talk about Russell Wilson, and I understand, but if Mahomes keeps this pace up, he's winning MVP again.
Oh, 100%.
He's on pace to throw for 45 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and 4,500 yards.
Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel all out on Thursday night. Close contact, COVID related.
Cancel the game.
Just don't show up. The 49ers have no players.
The Packers are going to obliterate them.
The 49ers have no players.
No Brandon Ayuk. No Jimmy G. No George Kittle. No Bosa. No Thomas. No Sherman.
No Deebo Samuel. No Raheem Mostert. Oh, my God.
Anyway, I'll start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, 21-32, 182 yards and 2 touchdowns, sacked twice. James Conner, 15 carries, 47 yards, and a score. It's hard to run on the Ravens defense. That's no secret.
No.
Juju Smith-Schuster, 7 catches for 67 yards. For Eric Ebron, 4 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Eric Ebron catching passes that aren't touchdowns is weird. And Chase Claypool, 5 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown as he continues his strong rookie year. Defensively, there was fumbles everywhere, but they were led by Robert Spillane. Hey! 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass deflections. And as good as he looked, Pittsburgh went out and got Avery damn Williamson for absolutely nothing because the New York hapless Jets are a bunch of morons.
Just wait until next season when they have Devin Bush back to play beside Avery Williamson.
Stephon Tuitt, 9 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss.
Ain't nothing to it but to it. Yep.
Nope. Joe Hayden, 7 tackles. Micah Fitzpatrick added 7 as well. Interceptions were by Robert Spillane and Alex Highsmith. When Carl rates through these Baltimore Ravens stats, people can be like, how the hell did they not win this game?
Yep. Well, for starters, Lamar Jackson only completed 13 passes. That's one good way to not win a game.
Facts.
13 completions, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Let me do some quick math. They totaled for 47 rushing attempts and 265 yards as a team on the ground. And they lost. Gus Edwards had 16 attempts for 87 yards and a score. Lamar Jackson, 16 rushing attempts for 65 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 15 attempts for 113 yards. Led through the air by Willie Snead. Kind of forgot Willie Snead was a thing. But
Ravens need a receiver.
Miles Boykin and Marquise Brown. They're number 1. You guys can't see the air quotes I'm doing. Number 1 receiver.
Number 1 receiver. That's a damn joke.
He had 1 catch for 3 yards and a score. All right. Defensively, they were led by Deshaun Elliott, who had 4 tackles. Ian, stop playing with your lightsaber. I can see you. Now I've then lost my train of thought. They got a forced fumble from Marcus Peters and Chris Ford, as well as sacks from Jalen Ferguson. Deshaun Elliott and Chris Ford shared a sack. And as Ian said, the Pittsburgh Steelers had no business winning this game. But they did. And they're still undefeated.
Still not the best team in football, though.
Nope. Not even the best team in their own conference.
The Ravens will be in Indianapolis taking on Carl's Colts.
Why can't that game be Monday night?
And the Pittsburgh Steelers
are playing the...
are they on a bye week?
Oh, they're in Dallas.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert, whoever the hell is starting quarterback for the Cowboys. Ben DiNucci is a bunch of ass cheeks.
He's a whole box of ass
Before we get into the ridiculousness that was the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately Delby and Buddha are not here, but when they'll get back...
It's probably a good thing.
We'll talk about it because, oh boy, let's get to the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks advanced to 6-1, rebounding off their loss to Arizona 37-27. DK Metcalf is a man amongst boys. If I hear any of you try to compare him to Megatron, I will slap you silly. The injuries for San Francisco continue to pile up as they lost Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle in this game. George Kittle is basically out for the rest of the year, and Jimmy G is probably out for the rest of the year too. This just isn't the year for the 49ers, and the Super Bowl hangover is something that continues to haunt Super Bowl losers.
Yep.
I'll take the 49ers. They were led by Nick Mullins, 18-25 for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. Was not sacked and had a 97.0 QBR. It is no secret that the Seattle Seahawks are horrid on the defensive side of the football.
Yes.
Before he went out, Jimmy G, 11 of 16, 84 yards and 1 interception. Nick Mullins is the better quarterback. Don't at me. On the ground, only 52 yards and 2 touchdowns as a team. 1 touchdown from Jermichael Hasty and Jerick McKinnon, who somehow had a touchdown with -1 yards rushing.
That's a man right there.
Receiving, Brandon Ayuk, 8 catches, 91 yards and a touchdown. Kendrick Bourne, 8 catches, 81 yards. Other touchdowns caught by Ross Dwelly, 1 catch, 16 yards and a touchdown.
Ugh.
Defensively, they were led by Emmanuel Mosley with 10 tackles and a pass deflection. They had no interceptions, and San Francisco was just ravaged on defense because they're playing Russell Wilson.
And speaking of Russell Wilson, 27 of 37, 261 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a QBR of 135. On the ground, they were led by DJ Dallas, rookie DJ Dallas, with 18 carries, 41 yards, and a score. And as you mentioned previously, DK Metcalf, 12 catches, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns. They also got a receiving touchdown from DJ Dallas and David Moore. And Ian, I'm going to give you 3 guesses to guess who led the Seahawks on defense, and you're only going to need one of them.
Bobby Dan Wagner.
11 tackles, 2 sacks. They got a sack from Alton Robinson and a pick from DJ Reed Jr., as well as forced fumbles from Cody Barton and Trey Flowers.
And as we talked about, the San Francisco 49ers are facing the Green Bay Packers tomorrow night, and Seattle, I don't know what they're doing.
Buffalo.
Okay.
And Buffalo.
Okay. And then what has to be one of the biggest wastes of my time on a Sunday night, after working a 7 to 3:30, was the Philadelphia Eagles win over the Dallas, I don't even know if you can call them Cowboys anymore, 23-9.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys, in my personal opinion, are the worst team in the National Football League. And yes, that is worse than the New York Jets. Because I'm pretty sure if the Jets played the Cowboys right now, the Jets would win.
Oof. Oh, boy.
This team is garbage.
Okay, I'm just going to say this now. Carson Wentz
Is an ass cheek.
is an ass cheek. He is a bottom 7 starting quarterback in
Does
this.
someone want to explain to me? As bad as Ben DiNucci was, he completed more passes than Carson Wentz. He had a better quarterback rating than Carson Wentz. He threw for more yards than Carson Wentz. Ben DiNucci, a 7th-round draft pick out of James Madison University, went toe-to-toe with what is supposed to be a top 10 quarterback. And Delby agrees with all this. Carson Wentz is a bottom-tier NFL quarterback this year. And by bottom tier, I mean 10 worst.
Yeah, you're talking like Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones type play.
He has been awful, and it is the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are below 500, and they're going to continue to be under 500 because they have one of the league's toughest schedules remaining throughout the year.
And they're still going to host a playoff game.
They're going to be hosting New Orleans or Tampa because let me just run everyone through the Eagles' remaining schedule. They are 3-4-1 and first in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles, after this week, as they're on a bye, they are at the New York Giants.
Win.
And then listen to this. At Cleveland, hosting Seattle. At Green Bay, hosting New Orleans. At Arizona, at Dallas, and hosting Washington.
They're going to win all 3 of the division games.
Yes, and then
And
they're gonna lose the rest of them.
Yes.
So they'll be at 6-9-1 and hosting a damn playoff game.
Yep.
That's a joke.
Are these stats even worth reading?
If our fellow two podcast boys weren't fans of these two teams, then I would say yes. But I'll take Dallas.
Carson Wentz turned the ball over 4 times.
And they still won.
He completed 15 passes for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 picks and fumbled twice. They were led on the ground by Boston
FYI
Scott.
against one of the league's worst defenses.
Yeah. They got receiving touchdowns from Travis Fulgham and Jalen Rager. Fulgham led them in catches with 6 and yards with 78. And they were led on defense by TJ Edwards with 12 tackles, 1 sack, and a forced fumble.
For the Dallas Cowboys, Ben DiNucci.
Defense.
Facts. 21 of 40 for 180 yards. No touchdowns, no picks, sacked 4 times, QBR of 21.3.
Yikes.
Because this man would snap the ball and then within half a second would be rolling out to his right for no apparent reason. They were led on the ground by Ezekiel Elliott, 19 carries on 63 yards. Tony Pollard had 40 yards on 7 carries. Cedric Wilson had 2 carries for negative 11 yards.
Because they kept trying to do all these weird gadget reverse sweep tosses. And
Michael Gallup, 7 catches, 61 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 4 catches, 27 yards. And Amari Cooper was not existent. 1 catch for 5 yards. Fumbles, Ben DiNucci lost both of his. And they also had a fumble from LP Ladisor. Who in the hell is that?
pretty sure it's their long snapper.
I have never heard of that motherfucker.
Pretty sure.
Trevon Diggs. 4 pass deflections, 7 tackles, 2 interceptions.
The best diva of the Diggs brothers.
Yes, Jalen Smith added 7 tackles. DeMarcus Lawrence added 6, a sack, and 3 tackles for loss. Leighton Vander Esch didn't do a damn thing. 2 tackles. That was about it. This game was a horror on the eyes if you were forced to watch this. The Eagles are definitely the better team. Doesn't exchange the fact that they are still an absolutely awful football team, and whoever wins this division is going to get smacked in the wild card round. It's that simple. I don't see Dallas winning another 2 games, honestly.
No, they're going to be a 2-14 or 4-12 team.
So, and good for them because they need some up-tier draft help.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for another time. The Philadelphia Eagles are on a bye, and I believe Dallas is as well. No, they're not. They're playing Pittsburgh.
They might as well be on a bye because they're going to get stomped.
Yeah. Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert will start for the Dallas Cowboys next week as they're benching DiNucci. Bench DiNucci. It doesn't matter. The Steelers' defensive line and linebackers are going to eat this team alive. It's going to be an absolute ass kicking.
It's going to be really bad.
Now on to the final game of the week. The Tampa, I almost said New England Patriots.
I found my pen.
Nope. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers escape New York with a 25-23 win in a game they probably should have lost. Tom Brady, 28 of 40, 279, 2 touchdowns, and 81.6 QBR. They were led on the ground by Leonard Fournette with 52 yards on 15 carries. Through the air, Mike Evans, 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Rob Gronkowski, 4 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Nobody else really matters mentioning. This Tampa Bay defense is ridiculous. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 7 tackles apiece. Jamal Dean, Antoine Winfield Jr., Jason Pierre-Paul, Devin White, and Jordan Whitehead. They had 18 different players record a tackle.
That's insane.
They also had 3 sacks. Sacks acquired by Ndamukong Suh, Devin White, and JPP.
JPP.
Let's see. Interceptions by Carlton Davis and Sean Murphy Bunting. And I'll leave Carl with the worst of the NFC least, the New York Giants.
Daniel Jones, 25 for 41, 256 yards, 2 scores, 2 interceptions. Led on the ground by Wayne Gallman Jr., 12 attempts, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Led through the air by Sterling Shepard with 8 catches, 74 yards. Got receiving touchdowns from Dion Lewis and Golden Tate. Led defensively by Jabril Peppers with 10 tackles. You also got 9 tackles out of Blake Martinez, as well as a forced fumble and a sack out of Carter Coughlin. Shout out Minnesota Golden Gophers. There you go, Jordan. And Leonard Williams got a sack as well.
Tampa Bay is on Sunday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints.
And the Giants play the Washington football team.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We skipped over the Saints and the Bears.
Yeah, we did. I thought you did it.
It was not intentional.
Thought you did it on purpose.
No, all right. Saints in Chicago. I did not do this on purpose. The New Orleans Saints defeat the Chicago Bears 26-23. Chicago is just they're the worst 5-3 team I've ever seen.
They're so bad.
They
played Mitchell Trubisky one play and he got hurt.
I'm just gonna save Carl's headaches and I'll take the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Nick Foles 28 of 41 for 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception with a 48.5 QBR. David Montgomery 21 carries, 89 yards. Actually showed up for once. Allen Robinson, 6 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown led the way there. Anthony Miller added 73 yards on 8 carries. Darnell Mooney, 5 catches, 69 yards, and a score. Chicago actually had a passing game in this game, and that's weird to say.
That's
personally, Mitchell Trubisky has been better this year than Nick Foles.
Oh.
For defensively, Roquan Smith had 11 tackles and 2.5 tackles for loss. Just stop it. That's 3. Danny Trevathan, 9 tackles and 1.5 TFL. Sacks were by Khalil Mack. Imagine that. And, yeah, only sack. 1 sack. 7.5 tackles for loss. Interceptions, nada. And, yeah, I'll leave Carl with the that team in the Big Easy.
Drew Brees, 31 for 41, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Alvin Kamara led the way on the ground with 12 attempts and 67 yards. Through the air, led by Alvin Kamara as well with 96 yards on 9 catches. Got receiving touchdowns from Jared Cook and Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
The future, kid.
Don't even go there.
Led defensively by the cornerback duo of Chauncey, or I guess he's going by CJ Gardner-Johnson now.
Who, whatever his stupid name is.
And Marshawn Lattimore, Ian's favorite perfectly rated corner in the league.
Marshawn Lattimore, so known as one of the most overrated players in the league.
Yeah, that one. He had an interception as well. They won in overtime on a Will Lutz a field goal. And next week, the Saints are playing on Sunday Night Football. And the Chicago Bears are in Nashville playing Tennessee.
Awfulness is what that was.
Agreed.
Alrighty. Are you ready for some playoff predictions? And then we'll get into our game previews, as we always do that last.
Yep, give me...
I'm going to go through mine because mine's simple because I did mine the other night.
You cheated, you rat bastard.
Damn it. No, I mean, this is the thing I sent you the other night, so
Yeah.
it still kind of holds par. In the AFC, the bye will go to the Kansas City Chiefs. The 2 seed is the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3 seed are the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, we're the same so far.
4 seed, Tennessee Titans.
You bastard.
The 5 seed, the Baltimore Ravens. The 6 seed, the Cleveland Browns. And the 7th seed, the Indianapolis Colts.
We are no longer friends. Nope.
I just don't trust Phillip Rivers.
Well, I don't either, Ian, but here we are.
As far as for the NFC, the 1 seed is the Seattle Seahawks. The 2 seed is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Here's
The 3 seed is the Green Bay Packers. The 4 seed is the 6-9-1 Philadelphia Eagles.
the Eagles.
The 5 seed is the Los Angeles Rams. The 6 seed is the New Orleans Saints.
I knew it.
And the 7th seed is the Arizona Cardinals. We will have
We're almost the same.
we will have 3 teams from the NFC West becoming the second only division in the history of the playoff format to put 3 teams into the playoffs. The last one was the 2017 NFC South, which put the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers in. And the Saints lost in the divisional round. Carolina lost in the wild card round. Atlanta lost in the divisional round. Wild card round, excuse me.
Mine. I got the Chiefs and the Seahawks getting the byes. My 2 seeds are the Steelers and the Buccaneers. 3 seeds are the Bills and the Packers. The 4 seeds are the Colts and the Eagles. The 5 seed are the Ravens and the Rams. The 6 seeds are the Titans and the Saints. And the 7 seeds are the Raiders and the Cardinals.
All right. Here is the actual predictions. Well, here's mine. Carl can give his if he wants. The Cleveland Browns will upset the Buffalo Bills. The Pittsburgh Steelers will defeat the Indianapolis Colts. Even you know I'm right. The Baltimore Ravens will avenge their loss to the Titans in the divisional round last year. The Cardinals will lose to the Buccaneers. The Rams will destroy the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Saints will upset the Packers.
I'm so proud of you.
In the AFC, the Chiefs will beat the Browns, and the Steelers will beat the Ravens. In the NFC, Tampa Bay will beat the Rams, and the Saints will lose to the Seahawks. The Chiefs will beat the Steelers. Tampa Bay will beat Seattle.
Ooh.
And the Kansas City Chiefs will repeat as Super Bowl champions.
I won't go all the way through my playoff predictor because I didn't have this prepared, but I will say I think it's either going to be the Buccaneers or the Seahawks versus the Chiefs, and at this point in time, I'm leaning towards both 1 seeds going clear to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go Chiefs-Seahawks with the Chiefs repeating.
I will say that if the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl again, they have a dynasty.
Oh, yeah. Because in all honesty, they should have been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
Alrighty, as this thing loads because this other computer likes to be slow.
Ian, you want to hear a fun fact?
What's that?
The 49ers are the worst team in the NFC West at 4-4, and they're better than every other
team.
third and fourth place team in any other division in the NFC.
You also mean that they'd be in first place if they were in the NFC East?
Yep.
Alright. I've got the Green Bay Packers beating the San Francisco 49ers 28-9.
Ooh, 9. I've got the Green Bay Packers as well, 35-17. Vegas has them as a 6-point favorite. The over-under at 50.5 points.
The Seattle Seahawks will give the Bills their third consecutive loss, 31-27.
I got Seattle 33-24. Seattle's a 2.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 55.
The Baltimore Ravens. You know what? No. The Indianapolis Colts will upset the Baltimore Ravens 24-21.
Oh, you believe in me more than I believe in me. I got the Ravens winning 24-14. Vegas has them as 2.5-point favorites with the over-under at 45.5. Bet the under, everyone.
The Houston Texans will defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars in the battle of the hapless AFC South teams 13-7.
I have Houston over Jacksonville, who I believe is starting Jake Luton, I think.
Yep.
24-7. Vegas has Houston as a 7-point favorite, and the over-unders at 50.5.
The Tennessee Titans will beat the Chicago Bears 20-10.
I have Tennessee over Chicago 31-13.
Ooh.
Over-unders 46.5. Tennessee is a 5.5-point favorite.
And the Panthers I'm just kidding. The Kansas City Chiefs will beat the Carolina Panthers 40-21.
Ooh, I thought I was being bold, but okay. I got Kansas City over Carolina 41-17.
I will cry.
Kansas City's a 10.5-point favorite. Ain't nobody making money on this game. Don't even try. The over-under's at 52.5. That's how you can make money. Bet the over.
Yeah. The New York Giants will beat the Washington football team again 21-17.
I have the football team getting the dub.
Oh, hey, we actually disagree on something.
Yeah, I know. Getting the dub 27-20. Washington is a 3-point favorite with a 41.5-point over-under.
The Minnesota Vikings are going to handle the Detroit Lions no matter who Detroit starts. 28-13 Minnesota.
I got the Purple People Eaters by 20 by a final score of 30-10. Minnesota's a 4.5 favorite with a 52.5-point over/under.
The Atlanta Falcons go to 3-6 as they beat the Denver Broncos 24-17.
I have Atlanta winning 21-18. Atlanta's a 4-point favorite. The over/under is at 50.
The Las Vegas Raiders will send Anthony Lynn to the unemployment line. 21-20. Another close loss for the Chargers.
We actually disagree again. I got the Chargers 28-24. The Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite with a 53-point over/under.
The Pittsburgh Steelers will go to 8-0 as they beat the Dallas Cowboys 35-0.
Oh my. I got Pittsburgh 42-14.
I don't got Dallas scoring a single point.
51.5-point over/under. Pittsburgh is a 14-point favorite, and once again, nobody is making any money on this game.
The Arizona Cardinals will go to 6-2, trying to keep pace with Seattle as they beat the Miami Dolphins 24-22.
Ooh. I've got Arizona 35-20. Vegas has Arizona at a 4.5-point favorite with the over/under at 48.
The New Orleans Saints will lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-28 on a last-second field goal.
I have a last-second field goal setting Tampa 31-30.
Ooh, we were close.
We were real close. 5.5-point favorite for Tampa Bay, which is a huge line for a New Orleans team. If you're going to make money this weekend, that's probably the game you want to bet on. The over/under is at 51.5.
And for the final prediction for the hapless New York Jets and the New England Patriots will send the Jets to 0-9, 24-6 New England.
Ian, you ready for this?
Ah, damn it.
The hapless Jets are going to lose this game.
Ha!
24-17. New England's a 7-point favorite with a 42.5-point over/under.
And Boda, when you listen to this podcast, man, I'm so sorry, but there is no way that Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert are going to move the ball on the best defense in football. It's just not going to happen.
Zeke could eat this weekend if they don't get behind.
The Dallas Cowboys not playing from behind. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That is absolutely hilarious.
The terrible part about the Philadelphia-Dallas game is I feel like we were much harder on Philadelphia than we were Dallas.
Well, that's because the Eagles... Because Carson Wentz is an ass cheek.
Exactly.
If y'all are wondering where this came from, a couple weeks ago when Phillip Rivers was throwing the ball interception after interception, Carl sent me and Jordan a text that said Phillip Rivers is an ass cheek, and now we just call everybody that doesn't play well ass cheeks.
Just imagine the grossest man ass cheek you can. Times it by 10, and you get Phillip Rivers on this day.
That was... Yeah, that pretty much explains it. Like I said, we're halfway through the year. Crazy. Something to note. Next Thursday night, the Indianapolis Colts are in Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans in a massive game in the AFC South.
Massive.
Oh, yeah. Here's what I love. Carl, you want to know what I love right here?
What you love?
Looking at the Panthers' schedule, the fact that we got to play Patrick Mahomes and then Tom Brady back to back.
That's not good for the win-loss record.
No. Oh, and then after that, we have the Lions, Minnesota, Denver, Green Bay, the football team, and that shitty team down in New Orleans.
Y'all are going to be somewhere between 7-9 and 9-7. Just depends on how well you play on a given Sunday.
Yep, we're not winning this week though.
No.
We are not winning this week. Just also to the fact that the City of Angels has two champions. The Rams are just squaring away in a corner because that's what's expected in LA now. The Los Angeles Chargers are the World Series champions. Congratulations to them. Even though if it wasn't for the Atlanta Braves, they should have never been there in the first place.
Ian?
Y'all did choke.
Our starting pitchers are a bunch of ass cheeks.
I mean, hey, you want to talk about pitchers being ass cheeks outside of Garrett Cole? I know well too much about that.
At least you have a Garrett Cole.
True.
We're throwing out there Max Fried as a number one.
Yeah,
he didn't win a Gold Glove, though, so here we go.
Against the best offense in baseball. This weekend, college football, will lead Clemson into South Bend to face the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Number 1 versus number 4.
That really long last name fellow that's going to blow the brakes off of Notre Dame.
Because Notre Dame, I don't care. Clemson's going to win by 20. Also, the Pac-12 returns this weekend. They are highlighted by
primetime.
They're highlighted by the Saturday night game this week as Kirk Herbstreit Fowler will call the Stanford Cardinal, also known as the Trees, will travel to Eugene to face the Oregon Ducks.
Yay!
We better not lose this game. I hate Stanford.
Oh.
I hate Stanford. Also in a matchup, Virginia Tech plays host to the 25th ranked Liberty Flames, who are undefeated. I still think Tech blows them out, but
I do too. It would be a cool story if it was at least a close game. But
I agree. But Tech's offense is ridiculously good,
Hooker's playing real well.
and when we start talking about Khalil Herbert in the Heisman conversation, I'm not saying winning it, but like.
I don't think anybody not named Trevor Lawrence is winning a Heisman this year.
I think with him out for a couple weeks, Justin Fields has a chance if he
Fields plays really well
the entire year.
He's
got a chance.
But if Trevor Lawrence comes back and continues the ridiculous tear that he was on.
Also, we just want to put up the fact that Michigan is so high after beating Minnesota. Sorry, Jordan. And they just got creamed by an unranked Michigan State Spartans team.
Shout out to the Cincinnati Bearcats being at 6 in the country.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the fastest rising draft prospect in college football right now, BYU quarterback Zach Wilson, who is being talked about as he might be able to replace Trey Lance as the number 3 quarterback in this year's class. I'm not going that far with it. But
kid's good. Good.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just be honest about the college football playoff here. Number 1 Clemson, number 2 Alabama, number 3 Ohio State. It's just that 4th spot.
It's gonna be the Ducks, Ian.
There's just no way a Pac-12 team can make the playoff unless they just blow everybody they play out.
I mean, yeah, they're playing only 7 games.
Yeah.
If a team in the Pac-12 comes out and just dominates for 7 weeks in a row, then I think they got a shot.
I just don't think. Let's just say Oregon, for the hell of it, goes undefeated and wins the Pac-12 championship. They're 8-0, right? They're not going to get in over whoever wins this week between Florida and Georgia at a 2-loss.
You're probably right.
Also,
it would make for more compelling football, though.
It would. I would rather see. Look.
Would you rather see a 2-loss Florida team play Clemson, or would you rather see an undefeated Duck team play Clemson? I mean, well, not you, because you
personally, Clemson with a healthy Trevor Lawrence is going to beat the brakes off of both of them. Because Oregon's only big question this year is they have 5 new offensive linemen because they lost 4 to the draft and then Penei Sewell opted out. They lost their second best defensive player in Javon Holland due to opt out, and by second best because Kayvon Thibodeau is the best player on Oregon's defense. They've replacing 5 offensive linemen. They are also replacing Justin Herbert, who graduated. Tyler Show. That's not how you say his name, by the way. I don't really know how to say his name.
Is it Shuey?
No. Anyway, Oregon does have C.J. Verdell coming back. They've got Johnny Johnson coming back on defense. They've got Jordan Scott, Kayvon Thibodeau, Diamondre Lenoir. They have 3 5-star freshmen on defense. They've got a cornerback. They've got Justin Flo, who looks like he's going to start. This man is built like an NFL star already, and he's 18 years old. Yeah, I just don't think anybody else out of the Pac-12 even has a remote shot. USC maybe with Keaton Slovis, but I just don't see a Pac-12 team getting in. I could see it's going to be another Big Ten because there's nobody in the Big 12 that has impressed me enough to get in the playoff.
No.
So it's going to be another Big Ten team or another SEC team, and there's no other Big Ten team right now. It was Penn State at the start of the year, but they're 0-2. Michigan does Michigan things, and they're going to let Ohio State drop 70 on them again. I think it's going to be Florida or Georgia. And I think Florida is going to be in the playoff. I think it's going to be Clemson and Florida and Alabama and Ohio State. Also, Mac Jones is in contention for the Heisman. Let's not get that confused.
Now, let's act like he's not playing insane.
To be fair, Alabama hadn't played nobody yet, but
I just want everybody to be prepared for 2 weeks when Florida State stomps Clemson.
oh my God, you're acting like Buddha.
I called this in the UNC game.
Okay, well, UNC is different than Clemson.
It's gonna happen.
I will give you $50 if
Okay, it's not gonna happen.
Florida State
But
beats
I can
Clemson.
dream, okay? It's been a long year in Tallahassee.
It's been a long few years in Tallahassee.
Damn you, Willie Taggart.
I feel that. Alrighty, well, guys, that was episode 21. We broke down week 9. We talked about a little college football. Hope y'all enjoy all that this weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow if, it doesn't get canceled. And we will see y'all next week. That was Carl. This is Big E. The Boyz out.
See you guys.